Hello and welcome to Pre-Modern Nightmare Whale. But before we get into the video, if you do like these, please do like, comment and subscribe. It really helps out the channel and I really appreciate your support. So Nightmare Whale is looking to set up an infinite mana combo using Recurring Nightmare and 2 creatures that untap lands when they come into play. If these lands generate more mana than the Nightmare cost to cast, then we can just generate mana every time we go through the loop. Usually it would take 4 lands to do this, however if one of our lands is a City of Traitors, then we can generate 4 mana from just 3 lands. That also allows us to replace one of the bigger creatures with a Cloud of Fairies. Don't worry, I will talk more about this combo later in the video, but this is the general gist of what we're doing. Once we've generated infinite mana, then we're going to use another creature that has some kind of draw or look through our deck effect, and use that to completely draw our entire deck. These are also very useful in terms of setting up the combo before we actually have it, especially the Merfolk, as they can be used to discard those big creatures into the graveyard where we want them for Recurring Nightmare. So once we've drawn our entire deck, we will eventually draw a Highway Robber. Then, because we have infinite mana, we can just infinitely recur this with Recurring Nightmare, draining our opponent for infinite damage and gaining infinite life. So apart from those cards, everything else will be setting our combo up. We have cards that draw and discard, as we do want those bigger creatures in our graveyard, so we can just speed the whole process up. Intuition is also super useful at tutoring for cards and putting some of them in the graveyard. In terms of disruption, we're playing Cabal Therapy, as we have some smaller creatures that we don't mind sacrificing, and also because we can target ourselves with it if we have those big creatures in hand and we want to put them into the graveyard. City of Traitors is the most notable land in the deck because it speeds up our combo by a whole turn, allowing us to combo when we only have 3 lands in play instead of 4. Unfortunately, we can't use Ancient Tomb because that will actually deal us damage every time we tap it for mana, meaning we can't go infinite with it. Because we want to go infinite, we're not playing Pain lands, we're playing Filter lands and the Invasion tap lands. However, we do have Mishra's Factory, which is excellent, as you can use it to sacrifice to a Recurring Nightmare to kick the whole combo off. Our sideboard contains some of the black cards you'd expect, such as Phyrexian Negator and Engineered Plague. Negator is especially important because people will be trying to stop our combo. And we also have Defense Grid and some extra disruption against those control matchups. And Null Rod is just very good in general. It can stop Tormod's Crypt and some anti-graveyard cards. We're looking for hands that have as many combo pieces as possible, as well as mana sources to start setting everything up. So another quick look at the combo. The way it works is we have 2 big creatures in our graveyard. Then we'll use Recurring Nightmare to bring 1 back into play, untapping all of our lands. So ideally we would have 2 and City of Traitors or just 4 regular lands. Then we use that mana to play the Recurring Nightmare, which leaves us 1 floating, and we can just continually use the Nightmare to flip between the 2 big creatures, untapping our lands and generating infinite mana. Once we've generated infinite mana, we will then go back to recurring whichever draw creature that we're using, and we can do that infinitely because we have infinite mana, until eventually we draw a Highway Robber. And when that comes into play, we'll drain our opponent and then just infinitely recur that with something else over and over and over again. But say there's a different situation, say we don't have the full combo. Well, it is possible to just reanimate a big creature on turn 3 and start hitting them with it. Some decks really can't deal with a turn 3 Palincron or Great Whale, and you can beat down very quickly with one of those, so it's kind of like a nice backup plan. And against the deck, cards like Meddling Mage and Humility just completely shut down the combo. Graveyard Removal again can stop the combo, as can Instant Speed Creature Kill in response to playing the Recurring Nightmare. It's a little easy to disrupt the combo, but it's still super fun to play. And speaking of combo, we are definitely a combo deck through and through. Everything we're trying to do here is combo related. Although in some longer matchups, we can sometimes chip in quite a bit of damage with our smaller creatures. But generally, we're still focused on comboing. The strengths are the surprise factor and the fact it can go beatdown mode with a very early big creature. It has main deck disruption and blockers, which is not something every combo deck has. And Recurring Nightmare is just a nice card in general. The downsides is it's quite a slow combo and it's very easy to stop with quite a lot of different hate cards. And so here's an example list. This one actually won a reasonable sized tournament. I'm thinking that this deck will probably be a bit better if more people in the community work on it and we can kind of fine tune it a bit. I don't think it's a tier 1 deck, but I do definitely think it's a viable, fun deck that's definitely a blast to play. So thank you for watching and see you next time.